everyone, and welcome back to another book review. Today I am going to be reviewing volume 19 of the Haikyu series that I have been reading for a while and I have been loving, so I wanted to talk about this next entry in the series. Volume 19. So Karasuno High School, the team that we've been following, has made it all the way to the final round of the, let me get this name right, Miyagi Prefecture Qualifying Tournament. So this is the tournament that will allow them to go to Tokyo, to go to nationals, and there is only one more team that stands between Karasuno and their goal, and that is Shiratorizawa. I hope I'm saying that school name correctly. They are this team that's playing in these purple jerseys as opposed to Karasuno's black and orange jerseys. Shiratorizawa is the perennial champion of the region. They always win, they always make it to this level of competition. They have a good coach, they have a great, strong team, and Karasuno is really the underdogs coming into this game. The crowd knows it, the teams know it, the coaches know it, but Karasuno has put a lot of work in, both at the individual player level and also as a team, and they've really grown. I feel like they have a little bit of a mental breakthrough, or they have had a little bit of a mental breakthrough having beat Blue Castle, which was kind of a mental challenge they had to overcome. They had to prove to themselves that they were able to play at that level, but now they're playing a team that is at a different class, and Karasuno is having to rapidly evolve and show that they too can play at the level that Shiratorizawa is playing at. Volume 18 was the beginning of this game against Shiratorizawa. It featured set 1 and most of set 2. However, in volleyball, to win, you need to win by 2. So at the end of volume 18, Shiratorizawa and Karasuno neither were ahead by 2. So even though they had hit the 25 marker point, they needed to pull ahead by 2 to win. So set 2 continues in this volume. This volume also contains set 3 and part of set 4. Because this is the final round, they're playing best 3 of 5 instead of best 2 of 3 like they normally do, which I feel like gives more length, and also meant that even though set 2 was tightly contested, it wasn't the game deciding set, because whoever won that won. So Shiratorizawa won the first set. If Shiratorizawa wins the second set, then they still need to win a third set to take the game, but if Karasuno wins that, then they're level and they have to kind of reset and play through basically another set of 3 to figure out who's going to win. So volume 2, set 2, shows real growth in the star of this volume, who is featured on the cover, and that is Tsukushima. Tsukushima really comes alive in set 2, and this aliveness continues in set 3 and set 4, and is really one of the defensive pieces that starts coming together for Karasuno that allows them to begin holding their own against Shiratorizawa. Tsukushima has come a long way since the first couple times we've seen him. Initially, he's not really personally interested in volleyball. He's tall, he knows how to play it, he just does it because he needs to be in a club, but he doesn't really love the sport. However, we've seen a lot of character growth, a lot of personal growth in some of the other volumes, and I talk about his growth in those reviews of those volumes, so go back and watch the previous videos on Haikyu if you want to hear me talk about how Tsukushima has grown as an individual. But he really has, and all that growth individually, I feel like for Tsukushima, hasn't fully translated to everything on a team, or at least he's not brought it to the next level until set 2 against Shiratorizawa. In set 2, Tsukushima comes up with a massive block, and that block really gives Karasuno the edge. I mean, that block is what gave Karasuno the win in set 2 and gave Karasuno the mental fortitude or the mental win that they needed as well. So not only did they win set 2 actually, but it gave Karasuno the energy and the belief that they can take at least a set from Shiratorizawa. Shiratorizawa isn't unbeatable, it isn't a team they are unable to defeat. They have the skills to work against this team and they can do it, and that translates immediately. It's almost like all this work that Tsukushima has been working on is a seed that's planted and it's finally bloomed, and Tsukushima is finally hooked on the sport of volleyball. I think he also makes a really good point here about like competition as a whole. In volleyball, it's a team sport, your team against the other team. In this particular game, it's best 3 of 5, so they're trying to win their sets, they're trying to go to nationals. But as anyone who's played a team sport, or even if you don't play a team sport, if you do some sort of solo activity like swimming, biking, running, there's a level of competition that is you against you, as in you against what your perceived limits are, or you against how well you performed last time. And Tsukushima, while giving his team the win, I feel like is also winning himself, because he's putting himself out there, he is growing, he is improving as a player, all the work he's put in is finally starting to show up, bloom, blossom. I'm not coming up with the right word, but it's starting to really come to fruition, all this work that he's been doing. So Tsukishima is improving himself massively, and it's starting to finally come together, and it's hooking Tsukishima. I have actually always liked his character from the very beginning, even when he was a little bit more standoffish. I thought he was a little funny and a nice counterbalance to Hinata. Obviously, Kageyama is also a counterbalance to Hinata, but now Kageyama and Hinata are kind of working together, so Tsukishima was this other element on the team that was just different, and I liked him, and I'm really enjoying him grow as a character and develop. Now that Tsukishima has kind of the confidence in himself and the love of the game that has been sparked within him, he is now taking it upon himself to lead blocking on the court, and that is making a huge difference. Shira Torizawa, massive team. Karasuno really needs great defense if they're going to win, and between him doing the blocking and Nishinoya, the other defensive specialist, playing, they're able to start holding their own. So there's a lot of sets crammed into this, but I feel like things are heating up. But you also get the sense that Karasuno is really holding their own and giving, if Shira Torizawa wants to win this set or wants to win this game, they're gonna have to work for it. And it's also kind of a battle of like coaches and the way that there's different coaching styles, but that kind of starts to come into play in the second half of the volume, and I think that's going to come more into play in volume 20. I actually have volume 20 out, and I'm really excited to get started. I haven't started it yet, but I really want to see how the games continue and also how these different coaching styles evolve. I also want to give a quick shout out, even though Tsukishima is the star of this volume, Hinata has really come to a next level as well. He's always been insecure or aware that his height is a disadvantage on the court, but he's starting to fly. He's starting to jump. He's starting to use his run-ups that he uses when he attacks to also do blocking, and that kind of puts Shira Torizawa on the defensive in the sense that they never have had to worry about him blocking them before, but after he does manage to block a shot, all of a sudden he's another factor that's coming into play that's changing the game in the course of the game. So little shout out to Hinata, who's also growing, but the real star of the show is on the cover, Tsukishima. I loved volume 19. This was a 5-star read. It was fantastic. I had a great time reading it. I'm really excited to read volume 20 no matter which way this game goes. I feel like Karasuno High School has really put forward their best effort and grown as a team, and also they're learning personal skills that is going to carry over into the real world. I feel like that's the real benefit from sport, is everything that you can take into your real world outside of sport, and that is, yeah, just something that I think they're learning, especially Tsukishima. I feel like he's grown a lot as a character, and I just like seeing that character growth. If you've read volume 19 or have any thoughts on this, I'd love to hear it. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.